Yo, yo, yo. How's it going, coach?
How's it going, Merv?
Hey, just chilling with the cats, as per usual. Hey, Ken.
Hey, how you doing?
Good. Man, I don't think I've spoken to you since Cooltopia NYC last year.
I know, Merv. Hey.
Yeah, it's been a minute. Oh, there's Klon. Let's get him up here.
And I see Shara.
Hi, guys.
Hey, Shara, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
How long have we been waiting for this moment, Shara?
Long time.
It seems like we've been, every time we meet, we talk about it, so it's here.
Excited to be here.
I know. And we've got, hey, Klon.
Hey, yeah, I was just about to say it's been a long time coming for this announcement. A lot of it has been planned.
Yes. Lots been, we've been working on stuff too. It's good to see. I see Elu. I see Jarvis. That's good. Hey, I see Anthony. This is good. Good stuff.
I think we're still waiting on Aaron. Yes?
Yeah.
Man, it's a packed day. Day. It's nice to see all the Futureverse holders coming to the Discord today. That was actually quite the vibe. Lots of people came to say hello.
Merv had a little concert for him. It was good. He's talented.
Oh yeah, I had a little welcome concert. It was pretty nice. Nice little time.
No, it was good. It was good that some of the Futureverse community joined in, and we got to chat with them for a little bit too. It was cool. It was good stuff.
Let's see. Oh, there's Aaron.
Okay,
getting them up here.
Let's see. We have Aaron.
Yeah, he's just connecting right now.
All right. Captain McDonald.
There's the captain.
There's Captain. Hey, Aaron.
Hey, everyone.
Hey.
Twitter won't allow him to change his profile photo.
Classic. Yeah, I hate that change, especially with NFTs. Like you want to show off at all your PFPs that you got, and rugged.
Yeah, it's totally rugged. I mean, like you pay for less functionality than you get for free. It's awesome.
Are you in that? Are you in that limbo, Aaron?
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah. I don't know what Elon's doing over there, but it's not that chill.
It's not cool.
No. And so, hey, Merv, I'm going to hand it to you in a second, but I just want to, I'm going to just introduce just who we have on the phone, and then they'll do their background, say hi, but it's been a long time. I know Klon and I have been very, very excited for this day along with the team, but it's great to have Aaron McDonald, who's co-founder and CEO of Futureverse. Shara's joining us, who's also co-founder and chief strategy officer. We have our chairman of the board, Ken Cron, who many of you guys know. And then Klon and I joining us with Merv, who will host us today. And so, Merv, you want to take it over and let our new partners share their backgrounds and who they are, and we'll jump into the agenda.
Yeah, sounds good. Man, we got a lot of meat for today's Spaces, that's for sure. Thanks for coming, guys. I'm Merv. You guys know me as the community manager here at Cool Cats, and this has been like a pretty big piece of news that we've been holding back for a while, but we're really stoked to introduce everyone. We got Shara and Aaron from Futureverse up here. Shara's got some pretty crazy credentials up honored, like Forbes 30 under 30, Rolling Stones, Future 25. Aaron's got some pretty cool thoughts on his Twitter involving AI and such. Definitely check it out if you haven't gotten to yet. And everyone knows we love Klon, the coach, and we got Ken up here from the board. You guys want to give a little intro of yourselves? Shara, you want to start us off?
Sure. I'll jump in real quick. So, very long story short, had a really fun, interesting career. Started in entertainment in the film business, started producing movies at a very young age. Was really fortunate to be able to produce big studio movies with all the major studios, worked on a bunch of big TV shows, ended up pivoting that into the early days of digital media, which was around architecting how you understand audience, leveraging metadata to scale brands and businesses. Ended up building a technology startup that I sold that was called Intern Sushi. It was about sort of a more storytelling version of LinkedIn for a younger audience to find internships and jobs. And that led me into the early days of crypto in about 2016, 17, and launched a fund about 4.5 years ago with Scooter Braun called Raised in Space, where we invested in all Web3 metaverse infrastructure. That led me to find Altered State Machine a couple years ago out of an obsession with AI and all of the cool things we can do with it in Web3 and beyond. And that's how I met Aaron. And we've put together something we're really proud of with Futureverse and are so excited to be collaborating with cool cats in the community.
Awesome. That's a pretty amazing background. Could we hear a little bit of you, Aaron?
Yeah. Hey everyone. Yeah. So I'm kind of, if you think of Shara as like an entertainment powerhouse and the Futureverse business, I'm kind of the tech guy. I came from an engineering background in telecommunications, and then moved into kind of cloud and IT before going out into corporate venture, and then Web3 kind of piqued my interest in 2015, and I started working with companies to accelerate and incubate them from 2016 full time. In my technology career, I pretty much did everything from the ground up, literally digging trenches to start off with, and then kind of worked my way into more senior engineering roles before going across into product and product marketing, and then eventually kind of a business leadership. So quite well-rounded, like technology background. And when we got into Web3 full-time in 2016, we started to think about how could you make this really exciting technology accessible to everyday people, because there's no point in decentralization unless your grandma can use it. And so when we started to look and invest in companies and incubate companies, we were focused very much on bridging that usability gap. And we spent 3 or 4 years building out the technology foundation to allow that to happen, with more than 30 portfolio companies run through that incubation process. Towards the end of that process, we started to look at how to create on-ramps for consumers. Like, how can we create the funnels that will bring them into this technology and make it exciting for them to use? And that's when we crossed over into the content game and started to build out brands and partnerships and businesses on the content side of things. And then the combination of those two things resulted in the Futureverse. So we brought together world-leading technology that's focused on driving user adoption by making the technology invisible, and combine that with world-class brands and IP to create user funnels. And when we got started talking about with Ken about this, and saw this really natural partnership between what Cool Cats has as this exciting, unique, and really story-driven, narrative-driven IP with our technology and powerhouse of talent inside the Futureverse, it felt like a really good fit. And spending time with Klon and the team, got a real sense that these people care about what they're doing. They care about their community. They care about the brand and the IP just as much as we do about making the space open and accessible to everyone. And so it's a natural partnership, and something we're really excited to activate and start to drive change with.
Awesome. Man, that's really dope. And before we get into some of the Cool Cats team, if you guys got a sec, please share the spaces. We just want to get everyone as into this as possible. Ken, could we get a little bit from you? I know we got both a lot of Futureverse and cat holders here, but you kind of worked on a lot of names that I actually grew up with, like Crash Bandicoot, Spyro. I know you're a big part of like Blizzard, and now you're advising on like things like Animoca and Cool Cats. Can we get a little background on you, Ken, just for those who don't know?
Sure, happy to do it. I've chatted with the Cool Cat community before, and want to also re-emphasize having the Futureverse community on with us here is great. So please welcome, and looking forward to doing a lot of great things together. A quick on my background. As Merv highlighted, I've been in media, tech, and entertainment in and around that business. A large focus was the video game area, and still is. So I founded a company called Uproar, and we did internet and mobile games. We were one of the first companies out there doing that, and we took that company public. And my background is mainly running public companies. And so we took that public in 2000, and then eventually sold that company to Vivendi Universal, where I put together Vivendi Universal Games, which included Blizzard Entertainment. So as Merv highlighted, Warcraft, Starcraft, Diablo, World of Warcraft, and the Spyro. I'm glad you mentioned the Crash Bandicoot and Spyro the Dragon, because we did all kinds of video games, including video games for women. We had all the licensed products from Barbie and everything else that was out there. And so we really pioneered a lot of that larger mass market appeal that turned into VU games. And today you know it as Activision Blizzard. And then I also ran as chairman of the board Midway Games. And you probably know that from Mortal Kombat and NBA Ballers. So did a bunch of things in that area, ran some publicly traded companies like Computer Associates, which, as Aaron highlighted, engineering background, enterprise software, that whole area. Did some internet companies like Grubhub and LogMeIn. Actually bought a hedge fund during the mortgage-backed security crisis, and so got my feet wet in the financial markets. And then when I saw blockchain and crypto, I couldn't help myself, because it is definitely a confluence, in the same way that the internet was, of media, entertainment, technology, and with blockchain now finance, where you can really reimagine those worlds. So I got involved in that in late 12, and then eventually created some operating entities, one called Coin Operating Group, another one called The Operating Group. And I invest across the spectrum of blockchain and cryptocurrency. And one of the companies, obviously, that you guys know me best from is as chairman of Cool Cats. And the entire team is super excited about what we're doing now with Aaron, Shara, and the team at Futureverse. To Aaron's point, it was a very natural partnership. We started talking about where the world is going. And pretty quickly, we saw that Cool Cat's amazing Web3 iconic brand and the incredible technology platform and builder that Futureverse is would make an incredible combination. And we felt that that could create a new center of gravity where we could exploit the opportunities across the spectrum of making it available to consumers, tying in the entertainment world that Shara, Aaron, and the team have done amazingly, and really be able to blend those things together to create worldwide, new exciting brands for the next generation. So that's what it's all about, and we'll tell you more about it as we weave into it, but we've created a very exciting strategic partnership. We have shared equity together, and we've done some amazing things. So it should be an exciting spaces. So Merv, where do we go from here?
Awesome. Thanks for that, Ken. Before we get into the partnership, just I know we have like tons of Futureverse holders here and in the Discord. It's been really nice to see the Discord popping off. Real quick, Klon and Coach, could you give all of the Futureverse holders just like a little bit of an intro, since they may or may not have heard your voices yet?
Sure, I'll go. First off, welcome, Futureverse community. Great to have you officially, and appreciate you guys taking the time, especially if you guys are global and worldwide. We are. So don't know what part of the world you're in, but thank you for joining in. My background is in the entertainment space. I spent 25 years at the Walt Disney Company, leading franchise development, brand management, licensing, in consumer products. Also have a sales and marketing background. And early in my days at the Walt Disney Company, I was chief financial officer for the European business. I really enjoyed the brand building aspects of the business. And I remember when I saw Cooltopia last summer with my son, it hit me with like, this is a brand that has a real future. And I was very, very fortunate to meet up with Ken and Anthony and Klon and Elu and Tom and Rob late last summer, and was had the ability to join. I have a Web3 experience, spent about a year and a half at Recur, a tech platform business, and Web3 that's onboarding, really Web2 brands into the space. So I'm happy to be here. It's been a great 6 months working with the team in the community, and look forward to working with the broader community now with Futureverse and Shar and Aaron. So, Klon?
Yeah. So my resume isn't as in depth as some of these other titans up here, but really what I do best is drawing characters, and that is where my heart is at and always will be. And so coming into Web3, me and the other 3 founders created Cool Cats, and it's sort of just been my main focus ever since. And now we've built such an amazing team, and I find myself as the creative director of Cool Cats, just kind of making sure that all creative decisions are up to code with how the brand needs to be. But I'm super excited to be a part of this ecosystem. It's amazing seeing all the Futureverse holders below. It really is a joy to be a part of this ecosystem.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Let's get right into this partnership. Could you give all of us like a little bit of details, just like a quick overview on it? Who wants to take this one first? Futureverse or Cool Cats team? I think it'd be interesting to see Aaron, just from like a tech perspective. I know you're a tech guy. Could you start this off?
Yeah, so what do you want to know? Sorry, my phone cut out.
Everything. No, I'm kidding. I mean, in a way, yeah.
A bit more about the Futureverse. Yeah. So like I said earlier, we are on a mission to make the open metaverse a reality, like something that people have imagined for a while, and there's been a lot of hype about. But in reality, there hasn't really been a good demonstration of how you can provide that seamless user experience and interaction between applications and content for everyday people. And so what we put together is 11 different companies who each had a piece of technology or IP or content that we could use to create what we would call the ideal user journey coming into the open metaverse, and the ideal and exciting content to activate that technology with. And across that, we have hundreds of people around the world in 16 countries that are experts in those domains of payments and network infrastructure and wallets and communications and artificial intelligence and 3D creative design and gaming, across all the things that are important to make the metaverse work. We have some of the world's leading people working in our organization now, and come together as the Futureverse to bring that into one vertically integrated stack. And so what that means is we can take all of the innovation that we've been working on for the last 5 or 6 years now, and start to package that up in really cool and exciting ways for new consumers to come in and enjoy all of the benefits of Web3 and the open metaverse without all of the hassle and the pain. And if you've been a part of the Futureverse community, you would have started to see some of this roll out when we released the Future Bus recently. You can go in, start to onboard and interact with Web3 infrastructure, blockchain, wallets, all that kind of stuff with a couple of clicks and without having to think about things like seed phrases and all that kind of stuff, but still done in a decentralized way. And I think that's a really important thing. We don't want to give up on that goal of creating a future where communities are more in control of their online self and their digital assets. And so Futureverse is really about bringing technology and platform and capability to exciting brands and content and making it come to life in a way that's magical for users, that feels like they're stepping into another world, and they can do that without all the friction that exists inside of Web3 today. I think one of the things that stands out as a juxtaposition was I was reading a tweet I think from GameStop, where it was now you can onboard in just 8 easy steps to buy your first NFT. And I'm like, Amazon had one-click checkouts, 2 decades ago. And so the Web3 needs to be at that level of user experience to be able to reach mass market adoption and make decentralization more than just a meme, make it part of society. And so that's where we've been focused on the technology front, and combine that with awesome creative capability across the team to take content and bring it to life in games, in traditional media, film and television, and in experiences that can connect our communities and our content with brands around the world. Has been our mission, and we've started now to collect, an awesome group of brands and companies that we can power their technology in the metaverse with across 5 different areas, which we think are really important to reaching mainstream audiences. So in music, in mass market entertainment, in celebrity and culture, in consumer goods, and in sports. We've got what we think are some of the world's largest and leading brands in each one of those categories that we can start to activate their user bases and bring them in to experience the cool IP and creativity that is being built with those brands and by other native Web3 properties in our communities.
Thank you for the in-depth introduction. That's a lot. That's amazing. Sherry, do you have anything to add for that before we get into the partnership itself?
That was a very holistic overview, as Aaron always delivers. So there's not too much to add, but I will say that one thing to know about us from the entertainment perspective is that we are not an ecosystem or a company that works with influencers or celebrities in a gimmicky marketing way. Everything that we do is a long-term partnership that has a mutually beneficial outcome, not dissimilar from what we're doing with Cool Cats, and not dissimilar to how we're all up here and we're all integrated very deeply as a family already. Everything we do is very thoughtful. And so when you see us come with partnerships like our FIFA partnership through our FIFA AI League game, which I saw in the Cool Cats Discord, some people asking if we could make the game with cats, and I thought that was a great idea. And we to come on that topic, but that's a good example of when you see us working with a brand, it's a very deep relationship. And so that's, I think, something to know about Aaron and I and Futureverse as a whole, is that we do everything with a big mass growth lens, and we're not trying to do anything short term. We don't take shortcuts, and it's all about how big we can build to bring the world into the metaverse.
and I'm going to just jump in. Shara, you and I have had so many conversations over the most recent months, and I think that's where our real alignment is the long-term vision that we have at Cool Cats, and we're very selective in who we partner with and who we collaborate, especially when there's some level of ownership in the business. And we've been very selective with our first partnership that was announced back in September or early October with Animoca. And this one, again, is a very long-term partnership where we have not only shared financial interests, we have shared philosophical interests or alignment on the space, thinking about it the long term. And as you know, what clicked to a lot of us is, Aaron mentioned, Amazon had one click, so 20 years ago, and our objective in this and mission is how do we bring millions and millions into the Web3 community as a whole. Futureverse is leading that charge, as well as how do we entertain and tell the story to millions through Cool Cats. And so we look at this partnership as a great way for content distribution, technology innovation, and where we want to move to. So we have an engaging, a set of tools that allow our holders and our community to engage in and experience different things. And this isn't going to come overnight. I think you guys hopefully you saw a little bit of the exploratory video of where we're going with this. Just a little tip of what 3D might work. It was all powered by Futureverse and a very quick few week turnaround of making that. And so we have a lot to do, but it's really the long-term visions that we both share as companies to bring this together.
Thanks for that, Stephen. Yeah, I love that example all the time when people say how pivotal that was, like the Amazon one click. We're kind of in that stage right now that we have so many clicks just to get an NFT, but with Futureverse's tech stack, we can definitely get to that like one click. It makes it easier for onboarding for the entire mainstream. I guess, can we touch a little bit on how this enhances a bit of utility for the current Cool Cats holders, but also how this kind of helps both brands both push into the Web3 space as well as like the Web2 space? Stephen?
Sure. I saw one of the questions from one of the community. I'll answer a tactical one right out the gate, because you saw some visuals of a marketplace, and people are like, well, why do you need your own marketplace? As we view this, we want to make sure we have brand engagement for our holders and for our community members, where they can come to one spot, learn, see, view, be entertained by content, play a game, go into a metaverse, but also do commerce and transact. So how do we make sure we have content and commerce in a unified manner? So, as we onboard more and more, Web 2 or mass people into the space, we don't need them to leave to go other places. We're not going to prohibit anybody. We're going to be multi-chain. We're going to be multi-platform, but we also want to make sure we have a hub. And so some of the immediate things that we see is, okay, we'll work on a marketplace together. There's also the opportunity to, as you saw in the video, create a metaverse space or create a social environment where your cat can interact with the other cats, have some fun, and really engage in a community effort. I think the AI is just in such early days of what the Futureverse team is building there. And we want to be early adopters of that technology to add value to all of our holders. So in one place, we're able to build a strategic relationship and have, Futureverse, power, if you will, a lot of our experiences. But we also, as Cool Cats, get to share how that tech is being used to a broader audience. And so it's a real, call it win-win. Obviously it's a win-win, or we all wouldn't be here today. but there's so much opportunity between the two companies from a brand and tech standpoint that it was such a natural collaboration of why we wanted to get together. And it really builds, like you saw, you might have seen in the release, a real trifecta for us from a strategic standpoint between tech and gaming and content.
Yeah, and ultimately this kind of like all fills towards the vision of making Cool Cats like a entertainment brand that's just everywhere, every family, every household. Along with the marketplace, though, I know we've kind of hinted towards a little bit of using our 2D Cool Cats that one day hopefully will be in some sort of 3D experience with some AI tools. Aaron, Cher, could you talk a little bit about that? That's actually the part that I'm the most stoked on, probably.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that's kind of the secret sauce in Futureverse from a technology perspective. So on the one side, we've got this, what we'd call the open metaverse operating system, which is all the kind of data infrastructure, wallet infrastructure, payments infrastructure, communications infrastructure, so that you can have this kind of seamless transition between applications and experiences. And I think it's a really important thing for people to understand philosophically is we don't believe anyone can build a metaverse. There is only the metaverse, and the metaverse is the collection of user-owned content and interoperable applications. And so when we talk about building the open metaverse, we're talking about building the data layer, which allows interoperability. Brands are going to want to express their creativity through experiences which are native to their brand and feel right for their audience. And the idea that you can chuck everything into one big super app and that's going to be like a happy experience for all users is kind of silly. And so what we're focused on is building this infrastructure layer, this data layer, which makes it possible for users to move seamlessly between unique applications that are tuned for those audiences and those segments, rather than lumping everything all together. And then on the other side of that, we want to empower our communities to become the creators and to conjure the worlds and the characters and the environments that they can imagine themselves. And so a lot of the collections that have come out of the Futureverse, and we have more than 18, I think, primary collections now, are powered by our in-house artificial intelligence tools. We've been building at the intersection of Web3 and AI now for more than 4 years. So while this has become a kind of a fad, I guess, right now, this is something we have deep technology expertise in, we have patents in, we have a very strong team of PhDs who are writing, some of the best research in the world around this stuff. And we have five tools now which we're using internally to create 3D content, 2D content, animated content, music, and power gaming experiences. And we'll be starting to package those up and bring those out to the community through applications and experiences that allow them to use those tools to start to grow and create content in the community and to enhance the utility of the assets that are being created. So you can imagine something like using one of our tools with a 3D cat, you can type to animate. And so you could use our in-house version of ChatGPT to write a story and have that story output some prompts, and those prompts go into our animation AI that animate your character. And so you can see through that, now we're not just the people behind the scenes creating content within our own companies, we're empowering communities to go out there and be super content creators themselves with those assets and bring more utility to them. Likewise, on the open metaverse operating system side of things, it's a way for developers across the board, whether they're independent developers or brands, to start to come and build in the metaverse without having to figure out all of the tech stack and user safety and security, and they can embed this Futureverse metaverse operating system inside their applications and connect to the world of content with a few simple steps. And so if you bring those two things together, what you do is you create the opportunity for more and more utility for the content that's been created by Cool Cats to exist and become alive in the world, and for those community members to be empowered to start to go and build content of their own on top of that with those assets.
That's amazing. Because me and Clun have always said, like, I think we have the most creative community in all of Web3. Like, we even have a baking contest going on right now with like a lot of our community members making like pies and muffins in the shape of their different Cool Cats and stuff. And I just can't wait to see. I know we have a community member, JL. She actually writes stories, and I can only imagine what she's going to do with those AI tools to make a story for her cat. What our community is going to do is going to be wild. Steven, do you have something to add to that?
I do. I just, Aaron, I really appreciate how you laid that out. And I'm going to try to, I spent a little time at Recur trying to do what the Futureverse has done, and they've done it on a completely different level. But I will tell you some of the work, and I just really want our communities to really appreciate this. The work that Futureverse is doing, if we tried, would take us probably 20, 30 different vendors of different skill sets that then had to integrate for us to take our brand and maximize it with ease in mind for our users and our community. And this partnership really accelerates all of that for, our creative and our storytelling and our community. And it just can't be, I can't stress it enough of the importance of the ease and the right technology in this space to build, as he said, so building a metaverse, there's the metaverse, and how we all participate, and working with Futureverse to help expand that reach of Web3 to all is why we're so excited about it. But the work they're doing and what they're building, the complexity of that, and to on different vendors on a specialized basis to get it integrated and then working right and seamlessly for our holders, it's tens of millions of dollars and in years, not months of work that we would be doing trying to pull that off. So
yeah, I think that
just really
that
want to make
vertically
sure community
integrated
understands that.
Message is really important. I think you could independently find a lot of the things that we're building in the Futureverse, or some of the things we're building are quite unique, but many of the components you could find out there individually. And one of the theses behind bringing these companies together was that we feel like having them under the same roof means that we can make that integrated experience much smoother. And so we'll release some trailers shortly which show how those different tools around digital identity and the underlying asset infrastructure and the communications and the technology that allows interoperability between, swappables and characters, all of those kinds of things come together in a nice, simple toolkit that is easy for users to use, but also easy for developers to integrate. And I think that if you look across the spectrum of, Web3 players out there, there are only a few of us with the scale to really pull off, what everyone imagines to be the open metaverse. And amongst those few, none of them have the depth of capability and that tight integration between all of those components outside of the Futureverse.
And Aaron, one thing you said to me a while ago that really always stuck to me is that how much Futureverse is trying to make this technology invisible.
Yeah.
And I just love that statement so much because it's all so complex that a lot of people won't ever understand those complexities. And so you have to make it that Amazon one-click experience to, onboard the millions and kind of have them into your ecosystem. And
you're 100% right. And I think, it's such an important thing to us that literally the first line of our strategy is make the technology invisible. That's how important it is to us. And the day that, someone, that we wake up and stop talking about protocols is a day that I'll be a happy person, because that means we've achieved our goal and this technology has become a seamless part of everybody's everyday life. No one wakes up and says, I'm about to, use HTML to interact with a POP3 client to send an email over TCP/IP. That just doesn't happen, and that is 90% of what Web3 is right now. And I'm not saying that infrastructure isn't important and that we didn't have to go through this journey. I was there in the early days of building out the internet infrastructure in my technology days, and there were lots of protocol focused conversations then. But the point when mass adoption happens is when we stop talking about that stuff and we create these magic experiences and we pair them with world-class content and we give users something exciting to do rather than, an encyclopedia of things to learn about.
Before I continue, a quick word from our sponsors that make the show possible.
Introducing Fraz Cola, the world's premier beer-flavored beverage.
It's Fraz, delicious, highly nutritious with a top-secret recipe that's so delicious.
Nothing beats the buzz of a cool Fraz Cola. What are you waiting for?
We're getting Fraz to the NAS.
Consume at your own risk. Symptoms may include and death.
That's such a good line. Make the tech invisible. I love listening to you talk about this stuff, Aaron, because you can tell you're really passionate about it, because I still remember using P2P networks to try to get a music file or something, but that's entirely different than you just a few thumb taps onto a glass thing in your hand and then you get any song you want now.
Yeah.
It really is kind of magic. It's why we kind of got into this space to begin with, right? I also love seeing in the Discord right now so many of our holders, the Cool Cats community, answering questions about fractures to the Futureverse community and vice versa, with our communities trying to learn more about the Futureverse stuff. It's just really nice to see. And seeing you talk about the improbable stuff for the MMO while you're answering this, that's just Titan mode. That's amazing. Can we talk a little bit about the equity exchange itself? I know this is kind of the thicker stuff, but I know this has been quite a curiosity about in the community and Web3 space as a whole. Ken, I don't know if you want to speak a bit more on this.
Sure. So, as everyone has said so eloquently, I think the opportunity to put the Cool Cat brand and the Futureverse technology building platform together is really a unique opportunity. We think that it's going to create that center of gravity where it's an interoperable metaverse. As Aaron stated, there isn't one. And what people really want to do is take their digital assets and have them travel all over the world in the same way that we do as human beings. So, you now have digital assets and you want to have this whole universe you're available to. And I think the partnership is going to allow us to do that. So when Aaron and I first started chatting, we talked about this interoperable world, and we believe it. Not one builder is going to build this. It's really building a platform where all builders can come and all digital assets can travel all over these universes. So we said, what should we think about when we partner together? And what we said really makes the most sense is have an economic interest, a vision, call it a people chemistry that all together. And what we found as we to explore this together, and we had some offsites together, and really spend time thinking about the future, is we said that in a line of interest across everything we do is really interesting, and how might we do that? So what we came up with is to really develop, look at new opportunities together, new markets that we can explore together, take Cool Cats to the next level, utilizing Cool Cats as a showcase for all the tools and the platform that Futureverse has to offer, and be able to own pieces of each other's company together. So this is quite normal in both public and private markets, where you do what's simply called an equity swap. So we said, let's each take a minority interest of each other's company so that we're able to independently function, and each company is independent, controlled by each of our organizations, but we have an economic interest in each of our companies. And I think that's a really important, unique opportunity. The old feudal days, they would marry, different kings, queens, princes, princesses, so that they wouldn't attack each other. They would work together to create these, unified bonds. And they did that, all across Europe. And today we do it in an economic way where we say, look, we want to build together and we want to make sure our interests are aligned so that when we each do well, we all do well. And so we exchange minority interest. We also sit on each other's boards now. And so there's an opportunity for us to work together at a board level. The Futureverse board, I'm joining that as their chairman. Erin and Shara are going to come over and sit on our board as directors. And together, we can make decisions that really not only build utility and value for all our holders, but also for the Web3 community in general. So the idea is to explore common vision together, common economic values for our community, and be able to all receive the aligned benefits. So that's really the essence of it. And that's what makes it, at a governance level so interesting as well, because it allows us through our communities to really stitch together something unique. So, Erin, do you want to add to that?
Yeah, no, I mean, I just completely agree. I think, us now as shareholders in each other's businesses and having co-governance across each other's boards is a real sign of the kind of deep level of commitment we have to making this partnership work and be a success. And obviously for us to see Cool Cats be successful is a really key part of this. But likewise, we're really excited to have Ken join the Futureverse board with all of his experience and in particular, if you look back at Ken's gaming experience, being involved with opening new markets. It's one thing to come in and run a company that's already an established brand and have that operate that successful business. It's an entirely different thing to open a new category and have the foresight to lead that and see it through. And so we're really excited about having that capability on our board with Ken and him bringing his experience in doing what we're all trying to do in Web3 now, which is create a new category. And so the partnership is very mutual and we're very excited about it. If we don't mind, we could probably bring Barvin up on stage from TNT, and maybe he could talk a little bit about how he saw this coming together, because I think he played quite a big part in kind of getting us on the same page and helping us connect.
That's true, Barvin. Come on up.
Yeah, I'm getting him up here right now. Yo, Barvin, what's up?
Hey guys, how's it going, everybody?
Chilling. Yeah, you guys, you wanna weigh in on this?
Yeah. So what got me so excited is I've known Ken for a long time. I actually went to school with his daughter from a very young age. So I've been aware of what he had been doing in this gaming space broadly, but especially in crypto, and then been following Futureverse ever since the mint of ASM. I just think the combined really resonating IP of Cool Cats was one of the earliest IPs and NFTs that really took off, coupled with the true tech platform that Futureverse has, not only just the AI thing, which obviously is top of mind for everybody, but really world building. Like, I would recommend the Cool Cats community really look into the Burrows and the integrated iPhone application that already exists, and all the ways that I think Cool Cats can be part of the Futureverse world. I think it's just going to be fascinating.
Yo, thank you. It's all very exciting. Ken, I love how you basically made the parallel to feudal times, but it also was like a little bit concerning. I'm just like, wait, so Coach and Klon are gonna marry me to someone from the Futureverse? Like,
well, we've narrowed it down to a few. So.
Hey, okay, let's discuss this like not on the post. Maybe in Teen Town Spaces or something.
You know what? Also, Bhavin, just to say thank you to you, because I think what Aaron was alluding to is Bhavin was one of the people that was working behind the scenes, saying, if you could roll up this, if you could do these things together, you guys could really create a powerhouse and do that. And what's funny is Aaron and I initially met over a phone call of really discussing common vision things, and that, as Aaron said, led naturally into a discussion of partnerships. But interestingly enough, 10T, which is one of the co-investors, Bhavin all of a sudden called me on the phone and said, I'm part of 10T as an investor in Futureverse. I don't know if you remember me. And I'm kind of sitting on the phone saying, okay. And he said, I went to school with Gabrielle, your daughter. I said, oh, that Bhavin. I said, how you doing? It's been a long time.
Yeah, it's really crazy.
You can't make up these. Yeah, I'm just telling the community, you can't make up these stories.
Literally, when we were building the portfolio, 5 or 6 years ago, we had this idea that if companies could work together, they could scale faster together. But literally, the thing that kicked off the Futureverse becoming an entity that rolled up these 10 or so companies was a conversation between Bhavin and I. So like Bhavin's kind of like the center point in this whole thing.
Yeah, so a little tip of the hat to Bhavin and from Aaron and I and both the teams. Well done, Bhavin.
I appreciate it. And really this vision of what Futureverse will become is just starting, I think. And I think this partnership with Cool Cats and this joint force approach is, to me, so pure and the true incarnation of what the open metaverse should be. And I think it's just going to continue to become something quite beautiful.
And just to add to that and maybe punctuate it is, I think what makes it so unique with Cool Cats and Futureverse is that we believe that the future is interoperable. We believe that there doesn't need to be one solution, one answer, one group, one brand. We really are dedicated to this, an open metaverse where everyone can participate, that the digital assets are interoperable. And that's what people really want, is the freedom to have their digital assets in the same way that they do their personal sovereignty. So I think that's the vision, and that's the center of gravity that we're trying to create.
Awesome. We're running up on the top of the hour, but I just wanted to. There's a few questions. A lot of it was like on other partnerships and collaborations, and I think we can hit that in the next section anyway. Shara, Aaron, would you be down to talk a little bit about your existing collaborations, just like some of the partners that you have in the entertainment industry? I know there's a lot of community that's pretty interested in that.
Yeah, for sure. Shara, do you want to take it, or I can go?
Yeah, I can jump in. I know there's definitely our communities itching to hear some of the partnerships we haven't announced yet.
They want some alpha, Shara.
Give them the alpha.
Which will definitely be coming.
Ready.
And the one version of alpha I will say is that there are clues about my career history. There's something to that. And that's all I will say now. But that being said, I think Aaron nailed what our approach is on partnerships. And obviously, our FIFA partnership in sports, you can guess what is to come with other professional leagues. So those are flying in. And of course, on the music side, we have some things that people definitely are not going to expect. And that doesn't mean partnerships with artists that anyone can do. That means a very holistic approach to how we handle AI in music, which I know Aaron and I have alluded to. And I think the main thing for both communities to know, and especially the Cool Cats community in relation to what we bring to the table, is an extensive network in entertainment. And so we've conveyed this a lot and talked about it a bunch internally and with our group, but all of our relationships are now relationships for Cool Cats as well. So it will be a big sort of collaboration around brands that we might work with on the Futureverse side that Cool Cats will have the opportunity, if it's interesting to them, to jump in on. And of course, vice versa. There's a ton of things we can do. So I think that we definitely will be doing something in the film and TV space. There will be IP there. There's IP in sports. There's tons coming in music, consumer goods. I think there's some unexpected things coming, but we're obviously tackling accessories and wearables and swappables in the very short term. So you'll see a lot coming from us around that very, very soon.
Yeah, so like the known ones so far, FIFA's obviously one of the biggest ones, and we had the privilege of releasing one of the first games, I think possibly the first game outside of their EA relationship with the AI League. So that uses our kind of Web 2 onboarding journey to bring users in from mobile app stores into the Futureverse infrastructure, as well as our NFT gaming IP, which allows you to create AI agents which can power your characters in metaverse applications and games. And then we have the Authentic Brands Group partnerships, which we've announced one of those so far, which is the Muhammad Ali estate collaboration. And Authentic Brands Group is a shareholder in the Futureverse, as well as a major partner of ours. They're one of the largest IP rights holders in the world, one of the biggest collections of consumer brands in the world. And so we've got quite a good, deep relationship with them. We'll start to activate across a number of different properties. Like Shara said, in the music space, we've got some really great partners that people know of already, like Warner Music, who's a shareholder, but we're going really deep into the music and AI space with some pretty industry shaping moves that we'll make in the next couple of months on that side of things. And the big kind of partnerships in the film and TV IP and industry relationships we'll start to talk about in the next couple of months. So pretty much every sector of that, 5 axes of consumer funnels, we've got world leading partners in.
Amazing. I'm just looking at the questions in the town hall, and actually one of your Futureverse holders, Build Mode, he's been answering a lot of our community's questions. It's been pretty helpful, actually. We only have like a few more minutes, but I do want to ask just like a few from these questions. Is that cool, Aaron?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah. These are more tech ones, and feel free to say no if you don't want to. But I'm actually curious, so I want to ask them. Is the root network going to be on a layer 2? Like, what's going to be the gas?
So the root network is its own network as a layer 1, but also can connect to other networks like ETH as a layer 2. And like Ken mentioned earlier, like we're openness and interoperability maxis, and so we want to be able to take the awesome UX that we have created for onboarding users into the Futureverse and enable that to exist across multiple chains. So the best experience you'll get is on the root network natively, because that's where we've got the tightest integration with all of the things that we have designed to make that onboarding experience really smooth. But if your assets are on, ETH or Solana or Polygon or whatever, they'll still be able to enjoy the ability to interact with other applications that are connected via the Futureverse Open Metaverse operating system. So you can keep your assets on the chains that you prefer, and then you can connect them through the Future Pass to applications that have connected to that SDK. And that gives the best of both worlds. People can make the choice if they care about it, which layer 1 or layer 2 they want to be on. And if they don't care about it, they can exist natively on root. Some people might ask, why did we build a layer 1 when there are so many choices out there? And I think the answer to that is what we discussed earlier about that vertical integration. We've been able to tweak the runtime modules in the root network to ensure that we can deliver that seamless and frictionless user experience. You can come on to the root network, create a smart wallet, start to interact and mint your first NFT without even thinking about or knowing what gas is. And we can do that because we've integrated all of those components inside of the root network. And so the answer to your question is twofold. It is an independent layer 1 in its own right, but at the same time, it's designed to be interoperable with as many layer 1 or layer 2 networks as we can connect, because that's what the open metaverse is about.
That's amazing. I actually wasn't really expecting that answer. Is it EVM compatible?
Yeah, it is EVM compatible. And so you can deploy EVM contracts, or you can use MetaMask for your wallet if you choose that. And you can, other EVM chains that are compatible with that. You can use those wallets on Futureverse or with the FuturePass.
Wow, that's awesome. Okay, we got time for one more. This one's from Pixlet. He's been kind of like an OG holder of ours. He just really wants to ask if you can talk about any details how Futureverse plans to handle larger loads of participants.
Well, there's a few bits to that. So I think the first, there's kind of, I can imagine two parts to that question. One is like on the onboarding of users to the kind of base infrastructure, and the other might be how to do that inside of applications or worlds. On the first part of that, the root network's architecture is something that we're internally calling optimistic parachain architecture, which means that we can have tight vertical integration across different types of services, say identity as a service, but have those run on their own independent chains that are connected to the core root network. And so that allows us to scale services horizontally, like you would in a typical microservices architecture, but have that vertical integration so they all work nicely together. So that's like the scaling side of the infrastructure, one part of it. Another part of it is making sure that you use the chain for the right things. And so when we look at things like scaling asset interoperability, a lot of people think that the best way to do that is to use NFTs. But if you look across, the myriad of different chains out there and the different standards for NFTs, and even within those standards, the different implementations of metadata, it becomes a very difficult thing to do at the NFT on-chain layer. And it's actually not a great way to get interoperability to work for assets. And that's why you don't see it. Hardly any of these so-called open metaverses, you can just import your characters from anywhere because there is no base metadata layer that is standardized for applications to interact with. And so we take those kinds of things and we put them in other types of decentralized architecture. So our asset registry, for example, uses decentralized technology, but not on-chain, to achieve scalability to billions of assets and interoperability between multiple layer ones. So that's kind of on the infrastructure side. You can see how we're approaching that. One is build a different kind of architecture for blockchain infrastructure, and the other is making sure that we optimize the kind of infrastructure that we put data on. On the in-game performance side of things, we've got a really exciting piece of technology, which I won't go into too much detail about because we're still going through the patent process on this, but it uses our artificial intelligence to effectively allow real-time upscaling of the experience on the edge, and the underlying interactions back in the core are very, very skinny, and so you can get lots and lots of people or objects in the same environment without having to have huge networking resources on the infrastructure side of things. Sorry, that was probably a little bit techie, but it's a techie question.
Check.
Loved it.
Okay, I rugged. I'm back. That means it might be time for this to be over. Does any of you guys have any last words? Thanks so much for that explanation, Aaron. Also,
I'll take a last word. I speak on behalf of the management of Cool Cats, the community of Cool Cats. We couldn't be more thrilled to have this partnership, Aaron, with you and Shara and the whole management team at Futureverse. We welcome you guys onto the board and are excited in terms of all the help, guidance, governance, and opportunities that Futureverse can provide. And I think we're committed to doing the same with you as well. So we just want to say we couldn't be more excited about it and look forward to really adding tremendous utility and value to both communities.
Yeah.
Thanks, Ken.
Thanks, Ken. We couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
Great. Okay.
Klon, I think we should you should introduce Shar and Aaron on how we close out our space.
It's tradition in here that you have to say what you really like at the end. So I think you can connect the dots. And so on 3, 1, 2, 3. We like the cats.
We like the cats. We like the cats.
We like the end of every space. We love the cats.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
guys,
thank you so much for joining.
Yeah. Ken,
Awesome.
Shara, Aaron, thank you for so much of your time today, as well as thank you for all the time you've provided, me and the team as we navigated and architected this partnership. So thank you so much. Thank you to the community, our community of Cool Pets, and hopefully soon Fracture holders. Wonder what that reveal is going to be. And to our new friends and partners in the Futureverse community. So excited, and more to come.
And thanks for your leadership, Stephen.
Yeah, no, it's been great. So Klon and I, not Klon, Merv and I will, and Jarvis, hopefully we'll see some of you guys tomorrow night in New York and over the next couple days. So thank you for everybody's time. Merv, why don't you close us out?
Hey,
Thanks
so much, guys. We love the cats. See you in the Discord.
We love the Futureverse.
See you in NYC. Okay. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks very much for watching. If you enjoyed this content, smash that like button, hit subscribe, and maybe consider watching one of my other videos. Bunnies up!